Okay, here we go. Friday, November 4th, 2022, 4:47 p.m. Good afternoon, YouTubers. Welcome back into another round of Astros Recap Postseason edition. So, obviously, off day for the Astros. Games 3, 4, and 5 in the World Series have been complete. They are in the books. The Astros do take a 3-2 series lead coming back home, so that's all good news. We'll break down the games here briefly, but Astros in a good spot. A lot of things, a lot of ways I could go in this podcast, things I can talk about, big plays, big moments. Still need one more win. So although, the city of Houston, baseball fans, Astros are excited, one more win. One more win. So can't get ahead of ourselves here. But yes, the goal going to Philly was to win 2 of 3 after splitting at home, and they mission accomplished. So you're back home and you're in a good spot. Valdez ready to go tomorrow. So we'll be all hyped up on Astros baseball as tomorrow progresses, getting closer to game time. So, yes. Talk to you on, what was it? Monday, Tuesday, Monday? Monday. I think it was Monday, yeah. Play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, off day today. Yeah, so series was tied 1-1. They were supposed to play on Monday, but the rainout sort of, gave them 2 days off. But the Astros just stuck with sort of the rotation, the way it was going to go. Phillies mixed up a little. Supposed to be Syndergaard. He actually got pushed back pitch yesterday, Game 5. Surprising to me, I thought they'd just go right back to Nola and Wheeler. But Wheeler, I guess, will go in Game 6. So we'll see how it shakes out. But, yes, the did not start well in Philadelphia. Obviously, their fans were loud. We expected that. I don't think that was anything out of the ordinary for the Astros. But Game 3 was not a good game. McCullers was not good. There was talk about him tipping his pitches. I don't know if I believe that or not. But he gave up, 5 home runs? And they beat us down 7-0. The game felt like it was over after the first 2-3 innings when it was 4-0. But the offense didn't show up. There was also talk about, Dusty Baker. Like some of these fans are just completely they're like idiots. Complained about Dusty Baker not pulling Lance McCullers earlier. Like that would have made a difference. Like my thought philosophy on that is like, listen, your offense didn't show up. They didn't score a single run. So you pull McCullers after 4 runs, I guess you lose 4-0 rather than it made no sense. Like you're arguing nothing because it wouldn't have changed the outcome. Like if the Astros had put up a few runs early and it was like 4-2, or even 4-1, or they were within striking distance, and you actually saw some good at bats, maybe then you have a point. But I just felt like I turned on the post game show, Sports Talk 790 after the game, and every call felt like they were blaming Dusty because he didn't pull Lance McCullers. Like that would have made a difference or something. So that was just the whole thing on the Tuesday, but they really just didn't play well. So you're down 2-1. So I mean, that was sort of the story. Now, obviously the big game. We're swinging the series a little bit. Now the Astros, like I mentioned, I will mention this as this podcast progresses. They need one more win. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but they need one more. I think we all know that. I mean. But we've done this World Series things quite a bit the last 6 years, and they've won, one? Have a chance to win 2. But, yes, losing to the Nationals, losing to the Braves, those were tough series to lose. This would be another one. You're playing the hot NL East team, but, yes, Game 4 shifted in our favor. Obviously, Christian Javier was incredible. I mean, they no-hit him. So, combined no-hitter, obviously, there's no way Vasquez was going to go out there and push a pitch count. Now, Game 7 of the World Series, maybe that's a different story, but possibly wanting to use him again if this goes 7 games, possibly start him again, I think would be something they look at. So, even though on 3 days short rest, but I use that 94, 96 pitches. The Astros had a 5-0 lead. He got through 6 no-hit innings. And then your bullpen comes in. Was it Abreu? I think Abreu got the 7th, Montero the 8th, Presley the 9th. I could be off on that a little bit. I'll relook at this. If this phone wants to load, which, 80% of the time it doesn't, so we'll see here. But I want to make sure I get these pictures in order correctly here. But the no-hitter thing was sort of very secondary. The game and the win was what was important there. So the no-hitter was kind of cool, of course. Only second one, obviously, in the World Series. But, yeah, it was kind of cool. But, the picture here. I got to find the box score. No, you got it right. Yeah, Javier 6th, Abreu 7th, Montero 8th, Presley 9th. So there was a few walks. Javier didn't really settle in. He walked a few guys early on, but then really, he sat down like 15 straight after that, something like that. Also, Presley walked a guy, but yeah, 14 strikeouts. Kind of cool. Astros did all their damage offensively in that 1/5 inning, and it was sort of just station by station. You got base hits. McCormick, Altuve, Pena back-to-back singles, loaded the bases. Obviously, Jordan. They make the pitching change. They get Nola out of there. They bring in Alvarado, who hits Alvarez on the first pitch, brings in a run. Bregman, the big 2-run double. You get the sac fly, you get the RBI single. So, yeah, just sort of pass the baton type of thing there. But getting the 5 runs, that was all the runs they scored that one inning. But that was a big crooked number inning. And then just, good to get the win. It shifted momentum a little bit because the Phillies had all of it with their fans in the lead in the series, but we still showed them we are the Astros. We won 106 games. We were the best team all year. That's sort of what they did. And then, of course, yesterday's game was the high-stress, tense, sort of low-scoring one-run. Every pitch, every base runner, every strike, every ball was just into it, basically. I think game one, although it was a one-run game, it was 5-0, 5-5. I mean, that you could say that was a lot of stress with all the zeros that were put up after that, which was like innings 5 through 9. But that was still game one. Game 5, obviously, especially with the series tied 2-2, is immense on who gets the upper hand, especially coming back to Houston. But, yeah, crazy. So we score early. Altuve hits the double, gets to third on this sort of bobble out there in center field by Brandon Marsh, but gets to third. Pena drives him in with the base hit. Obviously, the leadoff home run by Schwarber ties it right back up. Pena hits the home run to go up a run. Verlander, very short-ish leash in yesterday's game, obviously going in with just everything that is World Series sort of issues. Struggled a little bit, gave up the leadoff home run to Schwarber, walked 3 guys, I believe, in the second inning, and the bullpen was going, which was the right move. But then sort of settled in and got through the 3rd, 4th, 5th. Got pulled after the 5th. He was at 95, 100 pitches. He was right there at the edge anyway. So, and why waste time when you got the bullpen the Astros has got? You're going to use those guys. So, but yeah, it was stressful. The Astros had a chance. I want to say it was probably the 6th inning. I need to pull up this box score here. But they had a leadoff double on a bloop hit by Gurriel. Yeah, he had a bloop hit. And he got to third on a pass ball, so he had nobody out. Hey, the thing with that, though, you're at the worst part of the order, like 7, 8, 9's coming up. So you get 7, Hensley strikes out. McCormick strikes out. And then, of course, Maldonado doesn't do anything. He also, yeah. So that was an opportunity missed. Now, they did score a run in the 8th. Getting runners at first and third. Altuve had a hit. Let me think about this for a second. So it was... Altuve had a hit. He walked. Altuve walked. Jeremy Pena had the hit the other way. That made it first and third. And then Alvarez hits the hard grounder first that Rhys Hoskins couldn't snag cleanly, which allowed Altuve to score. Altuve was running on the play, so if Hoskins actually fields it cleanly, they'd probably throw it Altuve. But yeah, you do score the run there. They do get the out at first on the play, but that made it 3-1 to sort of ease the stress a little bit. But the Astros, Montero was the only one of the bullpen that wasn't good, giving up the second run there on Gene Segura RBI single. Presley comes in to put out the fire there because even after the single, score was now 3-2, but they had runners at first and third and one out. So Presley getting a big strikeout there. Can't remember exactly. It might have been Alec Bohm. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but big strikeout and then getting, it was a ground ball. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but here, I'll find it here. Gotta scroll all the way down here. It was the eighth inning, but Presley was in to get 5 outs basically to get the job done here. As we look, but yeah, Marsh was the one who struck out. No, wait. Yeah. And then, yeah, Trey Mancini makes an incredible play at first there. Not totally incredible when you compare it to Chas McCormick's play. We'll talk about it here in a minute, but it was a hard hit ground ball, and Mancini was in the right spot holding the runner at first, but able to glove it and step on the bag right there was a big play. And the only reason Mancini was in the game is because, Yuli got hurt on the sort of rundown. He twisted his knee. I don't know what his status necessarily is. We'll find out tomorrow, but that's the only reason Mancini's in the game. Now, Yuli Gurriel obviously plays very good first base. He won a Gold Glove last year, so I would think that Yuli also makes that play, but Mancini deserves credit, especially after striking out in a key spot the previous innings. So, but yeah, that kept it at 3-2. Go to the ninth. Astros can't do any add-on insurance. So it's all on Presley in the ninth. And obviously, let's see here. So he gets a strikeout of Rhys Hoskins. But yeah, the JT Realmuto, the fly ball that carried off the bat, right center field. McCormick goes back and makes just an incredible play. Crashing against the wall, leaping, timing that perfectly. McCormick deserves a lot of credit. I know I've not been a McCormick guy. That has been not mostly. It's because of his bat and his strikeout that he's a strikeout machine. But McCormick never blamed his defense. I'll say that. He doesn't make spectacular plays, but he makes all the plays you're supposed to make, and he's got a decent enough arm, I assume. But that was an incredible play, and that saved the game at that point. I mean, that's at least a double, probably more likely a triple, depending on where it bounces off that sort of scoreboard out there. But, yeah, that was, like I said, every pitch, every play, it was high stress, and he stepped up and made an incredible play. Harper got hit by a pitch and then got the ground out by Castellanos to end the game there. So, but yeah, crazy series. That was the close. We'll see what happens in Houston here, but the series is sort of shaping up kind of like the ALCS last year. So funny how fans forget over time, and I won't blame fans if they don't forget this. But Boston playing in the ALCS sort of had the same feel. I mean, you split the 2 games at home. You got absolutely killed in Game 2. You get killed in Game 3, and the Boston offense is just rolling right now. You got their fans now. They're back at home. They got a 2-1 series lead. And then the Astros finally, in Game 4, which didn't go well either, for the Astros until Altuve hit the big home run to tie it, and then the offense exploded. They win Game 4, Game 5, come back home, close it out in 6. So this series sort of has that same sort of feel of, winning an early game, but also, going on the road and not. Momentum is a big part of this, I feel like. Phillies had it. Game 3, they had 5 home runs. Their offense, they hadn't lost a postseason game. They hadn't at that point lost a postseason game at home all year. But the Astros, I give them credit. They're a good team. They've been good at this all year of not letting one loss, one bad game sort of unravel them. They've been able to turn the page, flush it. Every day's a new day, and come back out. Uh, you know, I'm not a guy rah rah Astros. They never do anything wrong. They're the best team in the world. Screw everybody else. I'm very hard on them. But I want to give them credit. I want to give Chas McCormick credit, Trey Mancini, for the big plays they made late in the game. But the Astros as a team being able to come back after losing and not letting one loss sort of affect them. I mean, that wasn't an easy place to play at. Their fans were crazy, obviously. Philadelphia is a big sports town. So, I mean, they got the Phillies, they got the Sixers, they got the Eagles who are undefeated, the Flyers. It's a big sports city, so they're jacked up for their team being in the World Series, of course. But the Astros being able to come off the deck and come back and win these two games was humongous. It's now or never. You lose game one in the game that you no excuse for, being up 5-0, ace on the mound, all that good stuff. Verlander does get his first win yesterday, so that's sort of something we can now. He's off the schneid a little bit. He's got a World Series win under his belt finally. But yeah, we come back to Houston and the position you wanted to be in. So they're right where they want to be. Need one more win. Got Valdez. You feel good about that. They'll throw Zach Wheeler. So that'll be tomorrow at 7 now. We're in the 5 o'clock p.m. hour here. But yes, a lot going on. A lot of excitement. But we need one more win. I think Game 6 is the game to do it. Got your starter, who's been the best, at least postseason wise. Valdez, a 1 game, 2 against Seattle, a 1 game, 2 against New York. Not spectacular, not shutting him out, but if he can go 6-7 innings, 2 runs, I'd feel good about our offense being able to, hopefully get a few runs off of Wheeler and put us in a good spot to wrap things up tomorrow. So, trying to think here. So yeah, the whole Trey Mancini's not really starting anymore. He's been abysmal with the bat in his hands. But, I mean, Olimis Diaz has not been good either. And neither has David Hensley. It's really dead weight as a DH, which is hard to imagine. But I know Alvarez got the DH start, I think, in game 4. Either 3 or 4, he was the DH, and they put Diaz out there in left field. So there was one of those. But, yeah, it's really pick your poison there. But I don't think they're going to go with Mancini. They had to use Mancini yesterday. Well, they didn't have to. They couldn't use Diaz. But Mancini didn't make the big play. He deserves credit for that. So, yeah. Yeah, Pena's still doing it. They had 2 RBIs yesterday. Yeah, but we got one more. We need one more to get. Just one more. Got 2 games to do it, but don't want to put myself in more stress than I've already been in this entire. But really, the first 2 series there wasn't a whole lot of stress. The Astros swept both, but yesterday definitely. Game 4. I mean, you felt like you had the win, but the no-hitter was sort of a thing. So, but yeah, you could really relieve a lot of stress that the Astros could just wrap this up tomorrow. And I think they got the pitcher to do it and take the momentum from these last 2 games and bring it to Houston. So yeah, coming up more than 19 minutes now, but I just wanted to get on here. Obviously off day, sort of the plan. I'm finally done with the early morning 2:30 wake up, get there at 4 a.m. shift that prevented me from getting on a little bit between the ALDS, ALCS there, but back here. But tomorrow's a big day. Obviously, we'll have college football going on, but then, as the sun starts to set, we'll get ready for Game 6, and we'll be jacked up for that. So, but yeah, I'm trying to think. Covered most things. I've probably left out a few things here and there, obviously. Love to hear your comments, obviously, section below. All that good stuff on YouTube. Like the video, share it with your friends. But I'd love to hear your comments as well. But yeah, I'm just trying to think anything I'm missing. We talked about Gurriel's sort of injury with the staying in the rundown at third base there. Hopefully he's good to go. He did actually stay in the game initially after that happened, and then they pulled him his next plate appearance for Mancini. But yeah, you got a bullpen. The off day today is going to help. I mean, because you used a lot of those guys back to back, like Abreu, Montero, and Presley, all pitched back to back days, and the Abreu's been just outstanding. I mean, this is a guy that I could not stand last year. Most years there's always that one guy. There's always that one guy in the bullpen I really just can't stand. Like it was Rondon for a while. Last year it was Abreu. It's been Brooks Raley in the past, but there's always that one or two guys that really bother me at the bullpen. But that hasn't really been the case this year. I haven't really looked at anybody and been like, I don't like this guy here. That also sort of plays into the fact that I haven't blamed Dusty for a ton this year. See, like when AJ Hinch was here, and I'd blame him for. I'm not gonna get too deep into this talk here, but when AJ Hinch was here, there was always that one guy in the bullpen. So when he go to that one guy, I would blame AJ Hinch. Dusty doesn't really have that one guy that you go to where it's like, what are you doing, man? So that's a way to fix the managerial bullpen decision-making issue that we sometimes have. Just make all your bullpen pitchers better. He doesn't have a bad option, really. You can blame him sometimes for bringing in a guy too early or leaving in a guy too long, but yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot. So, but yeah, I'm up over 20 minutes. Hopefully one more podcast. Hopefully an exciting podcast to wrap up the season on a high note, but we'll wait and see. And yeah, I'll wrap things up there. All that good stuff on YouTube. David Artis, one more time this year. One more time regardless. Hopefully it's on a high note, but wrap things up there. We'll talk to you next time.